I want to show you guys what it looks like to travel and do online business. Not always the yachts and the parties and the supercars that you're probably used to seeing online whenever people go travel. Today I'm traveling for work. 3 days ago, I had a meeting with a potential client for our agency, and they said, hey, we would way much rather meet you in person and finalize the deal in person. So I said, sounds good. I'll fly out to you guys this weekend and we can have dinner. So that's what I did. Now I'm in Detroit. This is my hotel room. I'm literally here just for like 12 hours doing some work on my laptop right now. And then I have dinner with them at like 7 p.m. And like I said, I'm literally in Detroit just for 12 hours just to have this dinner, and then I'm going to fly back home. Right. So, I'm not going to do any of like the partying or anything like that you guys see a lot of people do whenever they go travel for work or whatever. And I think it's super important for you guys to see like realistic lifestyles of people that are, doing business. I'm saying it's not always just the people in Miami, partying every single weekend. Not saying that those guys don't exist too, right? But for me, sometimes I literally just travel out to a city, meet a client, and then go back home, and there's nothing wrong with that. One thing I wanted to talk about as well is that whenever I first started doing kind of online business and all this kind of stuff, I used to literally dream about just being able to travel and work remotely and meet clients and just explore the US. And now, like a year and a half or so later, or however long it's been, I can actually say that I am doing exactly that. And it's super crazy to me because I guess I'm just realizing that the goalpost always moves back. When I first started, like I said, all I wanted was to make 10 grand a month, be able to travel and work from anywhere. And I thought life would be peaches and rainbows. And life's pretty damn good, I can't lie. But I also wanted to speak about some things that are going on inside of the business, inside of life right now for me that aren't as great. You know what I'm saying? Because whenever I first started, it was super easy for me to just think that once I made 10 grand a month, once I was able to travel, once I was able to just, on a whim, book a ticket and go meet clients and live this kind of lifestyle, that my life would be perfect, that I wouldn't have any more stress, that I would just be super happy all the time. And that's not really true, because what I've learned is that the more that I've progressed in business, the more things that I have going on that I need to be responsible for, right? So like literally right now, what I'm working on right now is we have like $50,000 being held from us on a payment processor for one of our clients. So I'm trying to get that back. That is, something that I never thought that I would have to deal with, right? I didn't think that, you never think that the money that you make is going to get held away from you, right? Another thing is that for one of our clients, this week has not been that great of a week in sales. We did like 10K or something like that. That's really not that great at all, and compared to like the week that we had before. And honestly, a lot of that was my fault. I was playing the role more of a player and not a manager. I was thinking more of like a player and not a manager. How I personally like to work is not necessarily how I should structure my team and how I should structure our meetings and how I should structure our culture for people that are individual contributors and not managers, if that makes sense, right? They're players. And just because I like to work a certain way doesn't mean that the people that work with me like to work that certain way as well. And I need to like cultivate an environment where they are in a position to succeed. So this last week of it being bad sales for one of our clients is completely my fault. That's something that I'm having to like process as well, because I hate messing up, to be honest. I'm like a perfectionist. I hate results not happening and then I feel like it was my fault, right? But I'm correcting it next week. I have some things that we're going to change and it should be good. But I booked this flight on Thursday after my call with these guys. I booked a Spirit flight, which I'll never fucking do again. And it had a layover, okay? So my very first flight, I booked 2 flights, right? One to Las Vegas or some shit like that, and then Vegas to Detroit, where I'm at right now, right? My flight to Las Vegas ended up getting delayed by like an hour, so I was gonna miss my connecting flight, okay? So I had to, last night, like last minute, cancel my flight, eat like a $200 fee or some shit like that, and then book another flight for today, like this morning at like 5 a.m. just to still make it here for dinner, right? So I wasted like 200 or 300 bucks, right? But that's just the cost of learning, because literally I had the thought in my head whenever I was booking the flight. I was like, you know what? I really shouldn't cheapen out on this. I should just buy a direct flight. That way I don't have to deal with any of this headache. Instead, I tried to cheapen out like $200, and then I ended up losing that $200 anyway. Okay, so take a lesson from me. Don't cheap out on business expenses. If you're going to go fly out to meet clients, you should take a direct flight, because you won't be as tired. You'll be more energized. It won't be as stressful, and then you'll show up better for the meeting, right? That's something that I learned just now the hard way, okay? that I just wasted 200 bucks. Luckily, I'm still energized and stuff. I'll have a good dinner with them. The client that I'm going to meet tonight, they reached out to all of my past clients and asked like how was the work that we did with them, you know, how was the experience, et cetera, et cetera. That was another thing that kind of like was, I guess you could say, stressing me out a little bit. Not because we haven't done good work for any of our past clients. Like I know they all said good things about me, but I hate not being in control. You know what I mean? Like I don't exactly know what they're gonna say. Even though I think they said good things about me, it was just another random thing. I just think it's interesting for you guys to see that just because you see these guys online traveling across the world, partying every single weekend, you don't know what they did for the 8 hours before they went to that party. You don't see them sit behind their laptop for 4 or 5 hours at a time, not talking to anyone, literally just staring at a screen behind a desk before they show you that glamorous lifestyle, right? Another thing as well is like yesterday I was super stressed out because of all those random little minor inconveniences that were happening and going on in my business and my life or whatever. I came to the realization that I'm actually like super lucky to even have those problems. I'm trying to learn to be really grateful because there was a time in my life where I would have prayed to have these problems. I was praying to be in this position to be able to go travel on my own and be free or whatever, financially free, whatever, right? I dreamed about making 10 grand a month, right? I dreamed about this life that I'm living right now. What really like shifted my mindset from being super stressed to like just learning how to be grateful, at least in these past couple days, is there is a guy, I'm sure if you're watching my channel, you know exactly who it is. His name's Ben Bader. He just recently passed away like a day or two ago in like a freak accident. I don't know exactly how. You know, seeing somebody like that who is in the exact same business model that I'm in, who is a couple years ahead of me, who's only a couple years older than me, seeing somebody that you like, you look up to as a role model who has gone through the exact grind that you've been through, has been like a source of light for you to say like, hey, like you can do this, it's possible, that kind of stuff. Seeing someone like that pass away is just super heartbreaking for me because I feel like I sacrificed so much to get to where I'm at right now. And I feel like to get to where Ben was or where I want to go, it's going to require, you know, more sacrifice. I guess what I'm getting at is just seeing somebody that was in your position go through the trials and walk the path that you were currently on, and they finally make it. If you're watching this video, I'm sure you know who Ben Bader is. Everyone looks up to Ben Bader in our industry, you know? And seeing somebody like that who made it, quote unquote, that we all look up to, that we would all say is like, you know, he's set for life, quote unquote, that he is young, had a girlfriend, had a whole insane future ahead of him. He was already financially set at like 25 years old. Seeing somebody like that get taken away just really puts into perspective that like you could really grind for this and, you know, sacrifice years and years of your life just to get to this monetary goal or this, you know, destination in your head, and it can all get taken away the next day, or it can get taken away from you before you even get there. It's just like a sobering reality to see somebody that you really can see yourself in pass away, because it's like, holy shit, that could be me. You know what I mean? So whenever I found out that news, all of the problems that I'm having in my business or whatever, I kind of just said like, you know what? Someone didn't get the chance to play the game today, so I'm just happy to wake up and be able to play. I'm not saying those things aren't still stressing me out. Like obviously I'm kind of worried about those or whatever, but at the end of the day, I was able to wake up this morning and I was able to play the game of business, which is the whole reason that I do this anyways, because I like the game, right? So those are a couple things that I'm just kind of off the top of my head today. I will update you guys after I get back from dinner, probably. I'll let you guys know how the meeting went. Traveling isn't always as glamorous as it looks like, or maybe I'm just lame, but yeah, I'll update y'all later. So I'm in the Detroit airport right now. I'm about to head back home. Last night I had dinner with those two potential clients that I'm trying to close. It went super well. They're really great guys. Talked to them a lot about obviously business. Got to know them a little bit, and it looks like we're probably gonna work together. I'm really excited. To be honest, right now I'm sitting in this airport. It's pretty surreal because I remember like 2 or 3 years ago, I remember just thinking to myself like, wow, one day I already know I'm gonna be traveling. I'm gonna be talking to clients. I'm gonna be free, I guess you could say, or whatever, not restricted to any location. Now I'm really doing it. You know what I'm saying? I'm flying out to clients, trying to close them, building relations, networking. It's super fun. And one thing as well is like this client that I'm going to work with, they're very good at what they do. Very good at what they do. And for a lot of you guys out there who are trying to get clients, I would say one thing to do is like you really need to take more risk when you're doing outreach. Like for me, I flew to Detroit for literally like 16 hours to have dinner and then sleep in the hotel and then fly back the next day. And, you know, it cost me like almost $2,000 to do that with dinner and everything like that. Spent like $500 at dinner. Doing stuff like that shows people that you're really serious about your craft, right? You're not gonna waste anyone's time. Like, I'm willing to fly out to you that same weekend. I'm willing to pay for you, you know, to have a nice dinner with me, pay for your time, know I can give you a ton of value, that kind of thing. If you genuinely reach out to somebody and you tell them, hey, I can make you 5, 6, 7 figures, I'll do it all for free to start, commission only, and you take a ton of risk, you know, you pay to fly out to meet them, you pay to, you know, have dinner with them, you pay to jump on a call with them, join their low ticket community, anything like that, you can shortcut a lot of like the time it takes and condense it down just by paying, honestly. So I would say if y'all are trying to land clients out there, I would say start paying to play and see what happens, see if you get a client that way. Because for me, like, a lot of people would look at this and be like, oh wow, you spent almost $2,000 to go meet some clients. It doesn't sound that worth it, right? For like one day, but in my head, it's like, if I close the deal and I obviously know I'm gonna get them great results, I'm gonna ROI that 10x, you know what I mean? Easily. So yeah, it's just crazy. Like, I used to dream about being able to go out and travel and live this kind of digital nomad life, I guess you can say, and now I'm really doing it. So, and it only took, you know, a couple years. So don't give up. Y'all can do it.